Hello, how's it going? This is rather timely because recently I did a video asking if modern, small, cheap mini RCs are better than they were a decade ago. I compared this, the Pinecone Models Pioneer, but which is also known as the UDI RC, Breaker, Panther, etc., and see if it was any better than a miniature RC from 10 years ago. However, I think there's a new kid on the block, which will just completely, well, I expect, render this almost obsolete, really. The reason being is these were 3, 4, 5 years ago the bee's knees, because they were well priced and pretty good. Now they're still pretty good, but they're not well priced anymore. This is the brushless version, and you can get them in the UK. Not, like I say, not this, but with the same name and a different body shell. This was imported from the East. For £105 retail, that's too close to 1/10 scale. The brushed one is a little bit better, but it's still over £80. Not ideal. Back when this was £80 for the brushless, or £85 for the brushless, fine, absolutely. There's a new kid on the block. Now, I said fairly recently, the last 2 or 3 years, that the price reduction of HPI was a godsend and it would save the brand, and I totally believe that. I said for several years after HPI was saved again that they were overpriced, and they were pricing things like the premium brand they used to be, and they don't have the supply chains like they used to, they don't have the parts support like they used to, and they don't have the enthusiast trust like they used to. But they're still very, very well-made RC cars and very good RC cars for the most part. Anyway, HPI reduced their prices, and you have HPI, and under the umbrella you have Maverick, which is more budget, and then you have Blackzone, which is even more budget again. So HPI models are now very well priced, Mavericks are now cheap, and Blackzone models are crazy cheap. And this is what we have here today. A brand new mini RC, which I believe will be better than this, and it's certainly better priced. Now you might be thinking, look at this box. Mike, look at the size of that box. This is not a mini RC. There's actually 3 in here. I got one for me, and one for each of my brothers-in-law. Brother-in-laws. There's 3 in here. One for me, one for each of those 2 melons. How do I... Here we are. This is the Blackzon Spryte. Now, they come in both monster truck form and stadium truggy form. They also come in 4 different colours: red, blue, green and orange. Now, 2 things you need to know. First of all, I spilt my coffee. But second of all, there is no difference between the monster truck and the truggy. So don't expect the truggy to be lower slung, more racy, more focused, anything like that. They are the same car with 2 different body shells. So just pick the one you like the look of the best. They're the same tyres, same wheels, same suspension, same everything. We won't open the blue one because we wanted to get a different colour each to make sure we could tell a difference even at a distance. But also we wanted to get both style, a monster truck and a truggy at least. Matthew got the blue monster truck, I got the green monster truck, and my brother-in-law Michael got the orange truggy. So I'll show you the 2 different styles today. But first, I'll open my one, if I can find where I put the knife. But before I do, the reason I think it's a good alternative to this is a 1/16th, this is a 1/20th. But it's a 1/20th truck as opposed to a 1/16th car. They're almost the same size. This is slightly longer, this is a wider track width, so they are very similar. Obviously this is brushless, you get the brushed version. They both have a 2-in-1 ESC, they both have a lithium ion battery included as standard, they both have a slow charger included as standard, and they both have 2.4 GHz radio systems, and they both have 4-wheel drive. So they are quite comparable. However, of all the Blackzones, I don't think this is the most comparable to that. Because this, like I said, is priced at £105 for the brushless, or just shy of £100 for the brush, maybe £80 odd. This is only £39.99, which I can't stand. It's 40 quid, right? It's a 40 quid RC car. Stop doing the 99 thing with everything. It's annoying. Anyway, so this is £40. Half the price of that. There is a 1/16th Blackzone called the Slider, which is £64. So closer to that in terms of price, but being a 1/16th truck, it's considerably bigger than this. I reckon in terms of overall performance and handling and presence, etc., this smaller 1/20th is closer to that, even though the price of the other one. And don't get me wrong, you know, £64 for a 1/16th ready to run truck is still excellent, but for £39 I couldn't resist. I reckon it will be better than this. It will be slower than this, not just because it's brushed, but because although the track width is wider than this, that's mostly wheels and tyres, because these big monster truck wheels and tyres and long suspension arms. The actual chassis, where you can fit the electronics, the motor, etc., is tiny. I'll do a comparison size. I've not seen them, obviously, because I've just opened them, but I reckon tiny. So here we are. Let's get the cover off. Oh. And there it is. Small, very small. It looks really cool. Yeah, I like the look of that. So you've got the car and the transmitter, obviously. Instruction manual. Little USB charger and a screwdriver. And a couple of body clips, spare body clips. So that's everything in the box. Blank. Transmitter. Don't spill your coffee again, please. Very basic plastic wheel, no foam on it. Trigger, we have steering trim and steering dual rate. A speed adjustment, didn't know that. And steering reverse. So we have no throttle trim. I just hope it's correct then. But I also have an A and B button there and there on the transmitter. No idea. I have to look at the instructions. But yeah, it feels fine. It's comfortable. Whatever. It's very basic RC, ready to run transmitter. Here we are. Like this. The Blackzone does not have oil-filled shocks as standard. They're just little friction shocks. I don't think it matters much on something this size. I've not seen any oil-filled shock alternative. But if they are available, or they become available, and they're cheap enough, I will probably upgrade, because even though the smaller it goes, you know, the less it matters, it'll still help. Quite a good looking little truck, actually. Yeah, really nice looking. Feels very well made too. There's not a lot of slop in anything. The tolerances look good. The shell is nicely finished off. Feels nice and rigid, actually. Feels better built than that, I'm not going to lie. But, so get these tiny body clips off it. Oh, there are no front body clips. Does that doesn't pivot, does it? How do you get the... How do I get the... How do I get the... How do I get the... Oh, it's a hook thing for the... It's a hook thing for the body shell at the front. Now we've got a cable going to the shell. Does that mean it's got lights? It does, it's got a light bar. It actually has a light bar. I didn't notice that on the advert. I don't even know if it mentioned it. Maybe it did. I did see this little port. I wondered if it was maybe a charging port for charging the battery while it was still in the car. But no, it's for the light bars. That's cool. So like this, it also has lights as standard. That'll be what those two switches are for on the transmitter. Very small chassis. Like I said, overall, size is not too dissimilar to this. But the chassis is tiny. I'll unplug the lights from this one. You can see the difference in size there. Tiny chassis, almost as long, not quite. It is wider. I don't know if you can see that there, maybe you can. There you go. Oh, stones everywhere. See, it is wider because of the big wheels and tyres. Obviously it'll go over more terrain, being a monster truck with off-road clearance. Non-adjustable suspension, obviously non-adjustable. Fixed links, that's fine. Non-oil-filled shocks, that's fine as well. For this price, bear in mind, I'll remind you again, in 2025, this is £40 ready to run. That's insane. All you need are the AA batteries. That's ridiculous value, even if it just simply works and is nothing special. So essentially what you have here is a toy grade priced entry level hobby grade RC car. And it is hobby grade. It may look very toy grade from here, but you do get replaceable parts. You could fit, if you could find shock absorbers the right length, those are replaceable. You can unplug them. So you could, I don't know if they have any upgrades yet. This is new to the market, but you know, it is possible. The whole thing is quite rigid and it's got lots of bumper protection, etc. It does look like a shrunk down hobby grade RC car, really. You can see the little brushed motor hiding in there. It's actually quite comparable in size to the brushless motor in there. It's a little bit smaller, but and I'm expecting it to be slower. It will be slower, but it might not be that much slower. Bear in mind, there's a limit to the amount of gearing you can have for something like this and something like this. Yes, that's bigger. Yes, it's got bigger motor. Yes, it's brushless. It will be quicker, but the gearing you get from simply having larger wheels and tires, you know, if this had tiny little tires like on that, it would be very slow. It has CVDs up front. They're plastic, but they have metal pins. The backs are dog bones, which is, you know, absolutely fine. Double wishbone suspension all round. Very springy, obviously no damping. I know it came with a screwdriver, but I'm going to use some good ones. Right, I just want to see what makes these things tick, because I can't really find spec online. You can get dimensions, etc., but it never mentions whether or not there's bearings. I expect there isn't. Or if there's metal drivetrain parts, like central prop shaft or gears or whatever. Again, I expect there isn't. So the wheel comes off with a screw. It doesn't have a hex. It has a sort of 4-pronged star-shaped thing. Now they will wear out eventually, but there's plenty of material contact there. And you'll notice that's a bearing. These things are ball raced as standard, ready to run. May I remind you, in 2025 for £40. So remind me, where's Tamiya's excuse for £200 kits with plastic bushings again? I'm not seeing it. And by the way, I love Tamiya. Okay, very, very, very soft differentials. I mean, they feel like geared diffs. Not much resistance in them. Very open diffs. That's fine, absolutely fine. The Mini and the UDIs, they come too tight as standard, so you have to slacken them off. Right, let's see if I can get into this chassis. It looks like you've got to take out the diff covers first, or at least the tops of them, to get in at the rest of it. I'm going to do that now. Okay, I managed to get the cover off. You have to remove a couple of screws. Which is time consuming, but it's not complicated. And here we have the guts of the machine. You can see the little brushed motor. It is almost as big as the brushless on that, slightly shorter but the same diameter. That's the speed controller, just an exposed circuit board there. I've got the battery out. It is a 600 milliamp hour lithium ion, as I said, 7.4 volts. That's a 1600, so it's a lot bigger, more than twice the size. But this is powering a smaller motor and a lighter car. I'm guessing the runtime won't be quite as good as that, but hopefully it won't be too bad. We'll have to wait and see. The screw that you have to take off to get the battery in and out and then secure it again, that screws into plastic. So if you're changing your battery or charging it with her, don't over tighten that screw, because once you strip out that plastic, I think you'll need a new chassis. You can see the center prop shaft is metal. The diffs and the spur are nylon, which is absolutely fine. And there are bearings throughout, which is really nice to see. And there's a small amount of grease on the gears and the differential. The pinion is metal. So, you know, overall, the spec is pretty good, actually. In fact, for what you pay, it's very good. Very, very good. Very happy with that. Apart from the fact that I have to now reassemble it. Now to quickly show you the truggy. And there you are. Slightly different styling. I like them both. They both look really nice. Truggy sits slightly lower in terms of the shell, but as I said, the chassis is identical. The ride height's identical. It has a nice little spoiler on the back of it. They both look good. Whichever you prefer, it's up to you. I would have liked an orange one as well, but I like the green. We'll get a video of all three running together soon, but for the last thing I want to do today is just put some batteries in the transmitter. As I said, you'll need a couple of double A's. Fire it up. I've not charged it. There'll be a little bit in the battery, I'm sure. Lift that up in case it runs away. No? Okay, we're good. Just put the shell on it. Tuck it under there. There we go. I won't put this body clips in. There we are. So, steering. Not quick, but functional. Strong enough to move it while it's stationary. Try and not get my fingers caught. I wonder if that's a slow speed. Let's try. Higher or lower? Okay, that was low. I was worried there. That sounded really slow. You know what? That sounds super, super smooth. Really smooth. And obviously because it's brushed, there's no cogging. Steering trim, steering dual rate, no throttle adjustment. I obviously need the steering trim sorted because that's miles off. But yeah, I think... Look at the light bar. How good is that? Look, wait. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, those A and B buttons didn't do anything at the start. Hold it down. There you go. You hold it down, and that's how you get your lights on and off. What if I hold down this one? Does it do anything? No. So the A button does nothing, I think. The B button switches. You can't flash the lights, can you? No, that'd be so cool if you could flash the lights. Like if you're racing and you're flashing your competitor in front, try and distract them like a real racing driver. I think the three of these together is going to be a right laugh. So, hope you look forward to it. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. You know what? It might be strong enough without the screw. Never mind. Try again. I think that'll hold. No, I don't. Okay, you need the screw. That's a bit irritating because you'd have to bring a screwdriver with you every time you go for a bash. You can't leave it plugged in. And also, that will strip, as I said, but not a major issue. Just a bit of a shame. Suppose you could use cable ties from the chassis. Yeah? No? Okay.